Hello, good morning. Welcome to Appreciating Drama. This is in fact the third class on drama, and today we will be dealing with miracle and morality plays. Morality and miracle plays are an outflow of Christianity in the medieval period, when the church forbade priests from acting through a papal order in 1210. So you find the beginning of morality and miracle plays was actually the cause of that emergence of morality and miracle plays was in fact a papal order. That means the order from the Pope, who is the leader of the Catholic Church, whereby he forbade or he stopped or banned all the priests from acting in dramas. When this took place, miracle and morality plays began to be put on. So after this papal order only, they started staging miracle and morality plays. Morality plays were usually from stories of the Bible, which lent themselves to moral lessons, and the miracle plays were usually based on the life of a saint. So the purpose of morality plays was actually to teach the moral values, especially of the Catholic Church. So the stories were all based on the Bible. The morality play has been defined as a bridge between the biblical mystery plays or the moral dramatizations of saints' lives in the medieval period in the Roman Catholic Church and the secular plays of the Renaissance, such as the plays of Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. So morality play is actually a bridge, a link between mystery plays and the secular dramas which emerged during the time of Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. So there is a gradual evolution of the drama here. You find first the mystery plays happening, which leads to morality plays. After that you have the secular plays. And here is the picture of Christopher Marlowe. I think Shakespeare is well known to you. Now, what are miracle plays or mystery plays? So these two terms are more or less interchangeable. Miracle or mystery plays. It's a medieval dramatic form dealing with religious subjects such as biblical stories or saints' lives, usually presented in a series or cycle by the craft guilds. So there is another term that is it is known as a miracle series or miracle cycle or mystery cycle. Any time can go with that. So it's a drama based on religious topics, especially the biblical stories or the lives of saints. Here series of cycle means see one day is not enough for completing that play, so it will be in a series. It's staged on many or during many days. This is called as series or cycle, and mostly it was all organized and supported by the craft guilds. Craft guilds means actually almost like the trade unions of today, associations of traders, and of course they were very rich people, so naturally they had the funds with them to sponsor these programs. And there is a definition of miracle here. What is a miracle? I think most of you know. So it is an event or occurrence which goes against the law of nature. So a miracle is definitely doesn't happen according to the laws of nature. We call it a divine intervention. So what you thought was impossible is made possible, maybe through prayer. That's why it's called a miracle. Once the dramas were moved outdoors, it was impractical to hold them on Christmas or Easter because of unpleasant weather conditions. So, earlier dramas were held indoors. After that, it became outdoor. But then there was a very unpleasant weather condition during in a cold seasons, especially. So, it could not be held during Christmas or Easter. So, they had to find another time for that. That's why the place were moved to the feast of Corpus Christi. That is, Corpus Christi means body of Christ. We can have detail about the feast of Corpus Christi. It's a holiday to honor the body of Christ in the form of the consecrated host, celebrated in the month of May or June. In fact, this year it was held on June 3rd. Of course, it is only celebrated in the Catholic Church, not anywhere else. This new place took on the names of mystery place, the dramatization of the life and martyrdom of a saint, and miracle place, stories based on the New Testament. So we find here 2-3 names for that. We have got mystery place or miracle place. Of course, both of them are same, and the stories were mostly from the Bible, especially the New Testament, and also the lives of saints. Martyrdom means actually people who die for a cause. Especially in the church, we have got saints who died for the sake of their beliefs. So they are known as martyrs. The drama soon fell out of control of the Catholic Church and were sponsored by professional guilds like tailors, bakers, carpenters, etc. that took great pride in producing and often acting in an impressive biblical scene. So first it was controlled by the Catholic Church, but later on we find it was all controlled by the trade associations, and it was a question of great honor and pride in participating in these kind of dramas. They were also involved in producing the dramas. Moving farther away from the solemn acting of the church, the main concern became entertainment. Gradually what happened was that instead of being pure religious teachings, they started becoming more of a secular. They were influenced by comedy and all that. So they want to entertain rather than teach the religion. There were characters added into the stories for entertainment value as well as silly physical comedy and dialogue. So gradually these mystery plays are developing into kind of secular plays. So they want to add the element of humor and all that. Comedy was gradually creeping into this place. The plays was presented in chronological order from creation to the judgment day. So there are also plays based on the Bible, starting from creation. God is creating the whole universe and all that till the judgment day. There would be as many as 40 plays or scenes presented. So they could not present all the story in one scene, so there would be many scenes or even plays. The guild would have a pageant cart and would be placed in a procession according to the scene that they would be performing. Pageant means a kind of a procession, during the time of festivals and all that, especially for church festival. You find all the faithful people, believers, going in line in a procession through the streets. That's what actually meant by pageant. Pageant cart means you can see in the picture, cart pulled by horses. And it is on that cart that stage is set where the play is taking place. So the cart will be moving through the streets, and then the actors will be doing their part, acting out the scene. They would move to different locations in the city within the parade and perform their scene repeatedly on their wagon. So on that wagon, the actors will be there, and they will be going on repeating the same over and over again as the cart is moving through the street. The miracle or mystery play was developed in the 13th century and continued into the 16th century. So it lasted almost 3 centuries, the miracle or mystery plays. Miracle plays, also called saints plays, were plays dedicated to the lives of various saints rather than biblical events. So mostly these miracle or saints plays were based on the lives of saints, not on exactly biblical events. Just like mystery plays, the miracle play originated to enhance the liturgical services. So liturgical means related to worship, the prayer service that is going on inside the church. So actually the aim of miracle play was actually to enhance the prayer service inside the church, and were later separated from the church. So gradually the church is losing control over these miracle plays. They were switched to English language, became less and less religious, and were performed in town festivals in the 13th century. So gradually, maybe in the beginning they were played in Latin language, but later on it became English. And these plays were staged during the time of festivals. But gradually they are losing their religious character. Most miracle plays are performed about either Saint Nicholas or the Virgin Mary. Santa Claus is the short form for Saint Nicholas. The plays about Saint Mary regularly involve her in the role of Deus ex machina. Actually, that's a Latin phrase. The meaning is actually God from the machine. There would usually be a problem that seems unsolvable, and the characters call on the Virgin Mary to help. So to define this phrase, what is meant by Deus ex machina, you will be able to see a short video clip where you find a kind of divine intervention. That is actually the meaning of God from the machine. That means something, an instrument which can solve your problem which you thought was impossible.
You know when you're watching a movie and the characters really get themselves into a jam and you wonder how the hell are they going to get themselves out of this mess? And then something like this happens.
Eagles! The eagles are coming!
This is referred to as a deus ex machina. Deus ex machina is a term applied to a situation where the problem seems unsolvable, yet it is solved by an unlikely occurrence. So in other words, lazy writing.
Just send me back to Earth and put off this whole rapture hoop-de-doo for another couple of years or so.
Deus ex machina!
This is easily one of the most problematic tropes in Hollywood. Writing yourself into a corner and then carelessly bailing yourself out with no regard for thoughtful plot development. So, like the classic killing a character and having him resurrected through a weird alien robot heaven outer body experience thing. Or Superman being able to just fly so fast that he reverses time. And sometimes you don't even have to show the unlikely occurrence. You can just mention it later.
Gosh, Batman. Nobility of the almost human porpoise.
True, Robin. It was noble of that animal to hurl himself into the path of that final torpedo. He gave his life for ours.
Even some of the greatest films ever made are guilty of Deus Ex Machina. Take this scene from Jurassic Park. The characters are trapped. The raptors have them dead to rights. It's over. There's no way out. Then all of a sudden, out of seemingly nowhere, a T-Rex bursts into the frame, conveniently targeting only the raptors and not the humans. deus ex machina. So how does one avoid this trope? Foreshadowing can be very useful when it comes to validating a bailout. Sticking with the Jurassic Park example, a line of dialogue earlier in the film stating that a certain noise or certain scent attracts T-Rexes could have been used to somehow justify the sudden.
So these miracle plays were performed in plain and goni. Actually, is a Cornish word. Cornish medieval amphitheatre. So Cornish means actually English county of Cornwall. County is a village, of course, in England. So these plays were performed in the Cornish medieval amphitheatre. During the 16th century, there was a ban on miracle plays by King Henry VIII, and they soon began to fade away in popularity. So miracle plays are coming to an end with this King Henry VIII banning them. You can see the picture of King Henry VIII. Now we come to the next type of play. It's called morality plays. Morality plays probably originated in England, the earliest known text being the Castle of Perseverance, that is around 1405 to 1425. Maybe that is the earliest known text, and the story was actually it was a drama, a morality play. However, one of the best of the genre, Everyman, began in the Netherlands, and moralities were frequently performed in France. So you find these morality plays were circulating all around Europe, and one of the best play known as Everyman is started from Netherlands, and there are also performances across France. After the earthy humor and simple devotion of the mystery cycles, the morality plays that appeared during the 15th century show theatre taking what at first seems to be a step backward. So after mystery cycles or mystery plays or miracle plays, you find morality plays gradually emerging, and it was during the 15th century, and in the beginning it was appearing like as if the whole drama was going back or taking a step backward, not actually evolving further. So these plays, however, reflect the darker worldview of a people that had experienced recurrent plagues. Plague means a serious disease which kills many people. So this morality plays started when the people were going through a very tough time. Like today, we have this coronavirus. It's almost like a plague, killing thousands of people, millions of people. So even during that time, they were suffering because of these plagues, which was recurring, happening again and again, just like the COVID. Like we say, one wave after the other coming, and had begun to regard human destiny as worms' meat. So people were always seeing death all around them, and they thought we are all going to end as worms' meat, like dead bodies, where the skeleton figure of death was a potent emblem constantly alluded to in sermons. So even in the church, they were reminding the people that life is very short, death is very imminent, you better be prepared to meet God and all that. So they used to show this kind of signs or symbols, the skeleton figure and all that. You can see there. So somehow the church was trying to scare people, reminding them about the shortness of life, or the fleeting nature of human life. So somehow there was a kind of all around pessimism and despair in the people. Just during that time, morality plays became very predominant. Morality plays were virtually sermons dramatized through allegory. Allegory means a story with a hidden meaning. It is not telling a story directly, maybe it is in the form of animals and all that. Actually, they represent human beings. And then one of the best known allegory is The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. They portrayed the span of human life in abstract terms, with mankind or humanum genus setting out on a pilgrimage in which he encountered a whole range of vices and virtues such as ignorance, humility, and the 7 deadly sins, all of which contended for possession of his soul. So this was the view of the church, and in the church, of course, there used to be sermon. Sermon is actually the talk given by the priest. So most of these plays were actually kind of sermons, trying to give the message about people, how they face a lot of problems in their life, and it was a kind of abstract term. That means a human being is faced with a lot of vices. Vices means evils, bad qualities or bad characteristics. So you could find both good as well as bad qualities, and good qualities are known as virtues, and the bad ones are known as vices. So human life is like a pilgrimage. You are going from one destination to the next. So from this earth we are going to the heaven, the heavenly place. That's a journey, and during our journey you will come across a lot of enemies. They are the 7 deadly sins. So this is how the life of a person was portrayed during that time. And you find these 7 deadly sins trying to control human soul, taking possession. Contentment means struggled. Now this is about The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. So this is the most famous Christian allegory, regarded as the most significant works of religious theological fiction in English literature, and it has been translated to more than 200 languages. And these are the 7 deadly sins represented in graphics. They are lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, envy, wrath, and pride. So these are the 7 deadly sins trying to stop the progress of the pilgrim on the way. They are pictured as enemies. So you should overcome them. So instead of vices, you should have virtues. So a man's success depends on how well he is encountering or overcoming these 7 deadly sins. So the 7 deadly sins, for a point of reference, are lust, greed, gluttony, envy, anger, pride, and sloth. I don't know whether you are familiar with these words. Some of the words may sound rather strange. Lust means actually it is of desire of the human body. It is related to, of course, the sexual desire. Greed, greed for money, wealth, power, and all that. Gluttony means related to food. A glutton, foodie, you say. Envy, envy means jealousy. Anger, of course, pride here in the sense of arrogance. Pride has got 2 different meanings. One is a good pride, but here actually it stands for arrogance. And sloth means laziness. Each sin represents a different aspect that, as the Bible states, God will not forgive you for. So if you are under the control of any of these, then God will not forgive. So morality plays are based highly from a religious standpoint in order to teach individuals about proper or true morals, right or wrong. So from the word morality itself we can understand what these plays or these dramas are standing for. They are definitely teaching or guiding the people how to tread the right path, how to lead a good moral life. To return to the basic outline of a morality play, the hero then has the choice to take what he says to heart or strive for redemption and ask the four daughters of God, they are mercy, justice, peace and truth, to aid in his quest. So as man is traveling on his pilgrimage, he will be facing so many enemies, just like the 7 deadly sins. And then he has a choice either to fall into the trap or follow your desires of your heart, or strive for redemption. Redemption means like salvation. We say moksha. So in order to attain moksha or redemption or salvation, you need to ask God's help. There are 4 daughters of God who will help you. They are mercy, justice, peace and truth. The plays could more than likely be performed in 90 minutes. So that is a time period for a play, 90 minutes. The principal themes were the choice between good and evil, the transitory nature of life and the immediacy of death, reflecting medieval preoccupation with the conflict between the spirit and the flesh. So the themes were, of course, mostly they are dealing with abstract ideas like good and evil, and life is very short and you have to face death, and after that you have to face God definitely. So this was the main obsession of the medieval church, trying to save the souls of its faithful, the believers, because every day man is facing this conflict between the spirit and the flesh. Spirit is his mind and flesh is his body, of course. Such concerns were particularly relevant at a time when trade and finance were rapidly expanding, offering merchants the prospect of great personal wealth and a life of material luxury. So it is a time of, maybe industrial revolution and all that, and people were amassing a lot of wealth, and so people started wallowing themselves in a lot of luxury. They were trying to enjoy life, forgetting God and all that. So it was the role of the morality plays to remind them that you should not indulge in this kind of pleasures and forget God. Performances initially took place in churches, then on simple outdoor stages, though without the visual extravagance that the mystery cycles demanded. So first it was inside the church, the plays were taking place, then they started moving out on simple stages outdoor, without much of extravagance. Here it means on stage they were supposed to have a lot of scenes, beautiful costumes and all that, but morality plays tended to be more of simple nature rather than being lavish, because mystery plays demanded a lot of costume scenes and all that. Although the plots were stereotyped and the abstract characters allowed little scope for development, morality plays achieved considerable sophistication. They were intended for an educated middle class audience and moved a long way towards secularization, thus forming a significant link between the medieval and the modern theatres. Of course, morality plays had a very narrow scope. That means you knew what the plot will be, is all fixed, stereotyped. That means there is no element of suspense and all that. And the abstract characters, most of these characters were ideas like virtues or vices, and so you would think that there is no scope for development and all that, but still they were able to achieve a lot of refinement, and they were able to move on. And mostly they were intended for educated middle class audience. So gradually they moved a long way towards secularization. So from a religious point of view, they were turning towards secular forces. That means the church was gradually losing control over this place, and it became the play or drama of the common people. Thus, it is a bridge or link between medieval and modern theatres. Nevertheless, in the 16th century, at the height of their aesthetic achievement, morality plays were suppressed in England, primarily because religious drama was beginning to become an instrument of politico-religious propaganda under successive Roman Catholic and Protestant governments. So they achieved a lot of success aesthetically or artistically. They were suppressed, somehow they were controlled in England. They were not allowed to move on. That's because these morality plays were actually trying to propagate the religious faith, or it became an instrument of politico-religious propaganda, mostly under Roman Catholic and Protestant government. So these plays became a bone of contention. Maybe kind of conflict arose between Roman Catholics and the Protestants. So somehow they tried to control this place. Coming to characteristics, morality plays are the result of Christian symbolism. So you know that in the Christian religion we use a lot of symbols. Due to their roots, they were quite serious in the beginning, but as time wore on, the seriousness began to give way, and they began to gain characteristics from popular farce or comedy. So we find that in the beginning they were very serious, focusing on religious mission or religious intentions, but gradually it began to lose its seriousness, and they somehow turned to comedy and all that. It became kind of entertainment. They are the intermediate step between liturgical to professional secular drama. So morality plays are a link or bridge between mystery or miracle plays and also professional or secular drama, while still having elements of each. The characters within the play themselves personify different moral qualities depending on the moral that is being taught. They have a focus primarily on a hero whose inner weaknesses become the main conflict. So each of these characters, a character represented a quality. This is an abstract idea. Like maybe the hero is the protagonist, and his weakness is actually highlighted here. There's a conflict between good and evil. He has to either choose good or bad. Generally, the weaknesses are drawn out and antagonized by the 7 deadly sins that make the hero question not only himself but his standing with God. So here you find a man torn between 2 equally strong forces. On one side you have got virtues, and on the other you have the vices. That's the 7 deadly sins. So these 7 deadly sins are actually characterized as antagonists or the anti-hero, the villains. And these 7 deadly sins make the hero question not only himself but also his relationship with God. So that is the essence of a morality play. So with that we come to the end of miracle and morality plays. Thank you and have a great day.